is that we have delete those parameters that are there. So emp0s3. First thing that we need to do is change the boot protocol to okay, changed it to none. Strange. Doesn't really matter. Maybe I've misconfigured it somewhere or something of a kind. No big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this and say dhcp down below. Oh, where is it? We can also delete this line, as we don't really need it. And we don't really need these two servers because things will be picked up from our host anyway. Also, yeah, you see it actually changed some other things. It said prefix equals to 24, as that is an easier notation. Now I can leave the prefix because it's going to stay the same, but I will delete the IP address as I do not really require it. So let's go ahead and right quit. Oops. Right quit. System ctl restart network manager. Thank you very much. And you see I have a choice between my old and the new connection, so go ahead and choose the new one here. You can do the same thing in the TUI interface. It is very simple. The reason why I've showed you the terminal user interface, so you do not have to type in nmap CLI and then a long, very long command to even create an interface, nonetheless, to even create a connection, nonetheless something else to add some parameters or something of a kind. So that's not something that you want to be using. You can look into it if you wish, but there really is no justifiable reason not to use nmtui, as it is a fantastic tool. Okay, so let's just go ahead and quit this. Anyway, let's go ahead and type in ipaddr show. Excellent, now we have that. Let's go ahead and clear the screen and do ping google.com. Excellent, so now we know that we have connection, and this is a foolproof way of confirming that you are actually connected to the internet. Well, maybe not absolutely foolproof, but this is a general way of people checking whether they are connected to the internet or not. They just ping a server somewhere and they see, can they actually reach a public server or not. For example, can I reach google.com? And Google is kind enough to allow pings, usually like probably around 70 to 80% cases. Servers will deny you pings. Routers will definitely deny you pings. Most of the well-configured routers anyway, and well-configured servers, but some of the servers that can withstand the bandwidth, like Google, they're kind enough to allow us to be able to ping them. And I generally use ping google.com in order to verify whether I'm connected to the net or not. So that is a very nice troubleshooting tool. But aside from that, you can actually test whether you can reach a certain network or not. So do you remember the network that we SSH'd to? So it's 192.168.1.101. And you see I can actually get to that network, so I'm pinging it. I know that it's alive, I know that it's somewhere, it is replying to me, and it's functional. So I know now that the problem can either be that I haven't configured a firewall or that the SSH is not configured properly. Once I configure the firewall, I know that the SSH is the problem. But how do you know that the port 80 or 22 or something of a kind, by the way, port 80 is the web server port, and port 443, that's the HTTPS for encrypted web traffic. How would you know that a port is open somewhere? Well, you can do it locally on the server itself by typing in, by using one of the tools called netstat, so netstat and dash tool pen, and here listening ports will be listed. So look, I have a 22 port that is listening, and I have 3189, that's something else. I have literally no idea what is this, and some other things as well. but I only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ports in total where I am listening for traffic. So you can see that the foreign address, state, and local address. So fairly simple logic, but you can also type in net stat grep TCP to view your pending connection, to view your connections. I have literally none, but here I can open up a browser, and that's bound to spawn some connections, right? Nope, apparently not. And there we go. So it says immediately that I have established connections to here and here and here. You can see that this is the HTTPS protocol is TCP, and it says established. Time wait usually means if that time wait expires, the connection will be dropped and declared invalid, but usually if it says time wait, it's gone, most likely, if there is that much of a delay. By the way, if you just type in netstat like this, you're gonna get all the sockets, and these are Unix system sockets. This is not something that we're interested in at the moment at all, because these are not connections to exterior servers. This is for inter-system communication. If you wanted to figure out who google.com was, if you had the domain name but you didn't have the IP address, the solution would be rather simple. You would just type in ns lookup google.com, and there you go. You have the addresses and you have the domains. Fairly simple, right? So it says google.com, and then it's giving us the addresses, so there are quite a few of them. But there's another command for DNS servers, so you can type in like dig google.com, and there you go. So if we just scroll upwards a little bit, we got the same answers, just so you know. It says that we do not have any errors. We've made one query and we got 8 answers. So all of these IP addresses are attached to this domain. Google has quite a few of them. I'm just using them as an example. You can do this on your local coffee shop website and just have a look which sort of IP addresses are bound. You're not doing anything illegal. All this information is very much public, and system admins use it on daily basis, just so you know. Anyway, we do have just a few more things to actually cover. You have traceroute, which is basically, let me show you, traceroute, but this is not really working anymore anyway, because most routers today have been configured to pass traffic through and not give any responses to any queries in regards to pings or trace routes or anything of a kind. They just allow everything to pass through, but they will not provide answers, and that is what these 3 dots mean. So that can be quite a big of a problem, because what you're using traceroute command is to actually see from which server to which server is your connection going, and where is it traveling. You can see my IP address somewhere in here. It doesn't really matter because it's a dynamic IP address. It will change the moment I reset my router, and I do that quite frequently as well, so it doesn't really matter if you saw my real IP address or not. Completely irrelevant. Anyway, I don't know, just a lot of people shy away from their IP addresses, don't really know why. They're dynamic anyway, they change from day to day, so it's really irrelevant. Anyway, these 3 dots, as I was saying, they just mean that the devices or the routers are not responding, but that our packet is actually passing through a device which is not communicating with us. It does not want to provide a reply to traceroute or to ping or to anything of a kind. So we do not know the IP address. We have no information on these servers of whatsoever, and that can be a bit problematic, as I said, because if you're trying to establish where the problem lies and you're unable to visit and you're unable to get a reply from certain servers, it can be very, very inconvenient. Now, aside from netstat, ping, traceroute, dig, NSLOOKUP, you also have nmap, Nmap is a tool for scanning networks and probing them